Mabu, hi, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. My channel is about marriage to a woman from the Philippines. I've been married since 2015, so coming up on 9 years. Please subscribe and leave a comment. Here's a TikTok comment. It's about giving money to a woman from the Philippines. They say, I know someone who happens to be a friend of their husband, and he shows off a lot of money to girls who he first time meets with and gives money to her family. So I'm going to pick out the phrase here, showing off a lot of money, because first of all, when you're in the Philippines, just giving anyone the impression that you have a lot of money could get you mugged or attacked or robbed. So you want to keep a low profile there anyway. But I know my wife has talked about this idea of giving a lot of money. She calls it showing off. And sometimes I have to say, well, hon, how do you know he's just not being generous? So some people could say, well, those Western men, they just show off. Excuse me. And they try to get those women by showing off their wealth, flaunting their wealth. And that's just not fair or not right. And I know there are generous people out there. And I know there are people who are show-offs. So leave a comment with this if you'd like. I'd like to dig into it just a little bit in the little time I have here. And say that I think you should, at some point, if you become serious with this woman, you should be generous with her. Hopefully, you're in a position to do that. And again, I'm not going to define generous. Doesn't mean you have to buy a 100,000 USD house, or have to buy a house at all, or land or a car, and you can still be generous with them. And I think, as in many things, it comes down to attitude and intent. Attitude and the goal, what they're really after. And so it can be hard from a Filipina's standpoint, and they can leave a comment here if they want. How do you know if this guy is just being a generous person or if he's just showing off? And if he's showing off with you, he's probably showing off to many others. But if he's generous, he probably is going to save that generosity for the one most special woman in his life. So I would say be generous. I certainly have been in my marriage, and not so much in the early dating days, because we really didn't date very long. We got married so quickly. But I've been generous with her since then. And if I was to do it all over again, which I certainly don't want to, I would refrain from showing too much too soon, even if I could bless her a lot. I don't want to give her the impression that, I don't know, I don't want somebody to marry me for the wrong reasons, like, hey, look at me, I'm loaded, hint, hint, maybe you should marry me. That wouldn't have anything to do with what kind of a man I was, what kind of a person I was, what kind of husband I could be. So I would not want to win her affection by showing her that, hey, every time I go out, I'm treating the family in the neighborhood, to expensive meals, because that is showing off. And, I can't judge a man's motives for doing that, because I guess maybe only he knows if he's just trying to show generosity versus going overboard and trying to show off. Because if he's being generous, then to me it's about her. His actions of giving the money generously is all about her, wanting to bless her. If, however, it leans more towards the idea of showing off, then it's probably more towards him. His end game is probably getting the woman, maybe the easy way, showing off. But if he's just generous for the sake of the woman, he's not showing off, it's because he wants to make that woman's life better, maybe a lot better. So let me know what you think. I think it would be very wrong to go over there and act like you're a big shot, act like you have a lot of money to try to impress a woman. I think that can backfire. But you can go at the right time and be generous to that woman, probably to avoid appearances that you're doing it to show off. You might want to wait a while, like maybe until you've got there for the first time. If it's been 3, 4, 5 months and you're the only people you've contacted and communicated with just each other, and you both know that, depending on how it's going, how serious you are, if you're ready to propose, well, then you can, become a little bit more generous. Doing it right away could be a sign of showing off. So I'm not trying to be judgmental here. I just thought it was interesting how a man could potentially feel like, I'm just being generous, and a woman might say, he's just showing off. Be kind of frustrating to be misunderstood like that. Let me know if you have, if you've kind of battled with this or struggled with this idea. Is she going to think I'm showing off, or am I showing her that I really care? Or maybe I'm just making much ado about nothing. But I know how my wife feels about it, and so I wanted to make a video about this topic to potentially help other people who could be looking for love beyond the sea.